Hi everybody, it's Jan from Jan's Art. We're going to continue with this pencil sketch portrait I'm doing of my late father and ex-miner. I'm using Procreate on my Apple iPad Pro. It's a 12.9 version. Now, if you remember, I did the reference, I cut a piece of the eyes from my reference over here and put them above the eyes, so I worked from that reference. Now I just want to work on the nose, so I'm just gonna copy a reference, an outline of the nose. I'll include some wrinkles. There we go. Copy and paste. I'll just grab this. So I've got the nose up here. And this is so easy to work with. I'm just going to erase. Whoops. A bit big, that eraser. I'm just going to erase this little tangent that's shooting off. Okay. Right, so I'm going to work on the nose, so let's get back to my actual sketch. Okay, so this is definitely, yes, I'm on the sketch, and if you remember, I had an outline that I'm working below, so it keeps me right. If I take the outline off, you can see my drawing is within the outline that I traced of the photograph that I cleaned up. So I'm going to keep that outline on because it does have right, I've got Procreate pencil there. It does have the boundaries where I can draw to. Okay, I just might want to move that nose a little bit. Let's just get rid of this, make it more square. Let's just put this nose over here. Tell you what, I'm just going to lose my reference. Go back to my nose. That's better. It's just so I can see what I'm going to be doing. Okay, right, I'm all ready for to start sketching the nose. So I'm in my pencil. I've got about 50% and I've got a fairly thin point. So all I'm doing now is I'm just very lightly, don't know if the camera can pick this up because it's very, very faint. Okay. This is why I like Procreate and Apple pencils, because they really do mimic as if it was a real pencil on paper, because you can go as faint as you need. Okay, let's just erase some of that. Maybe that. I know what's causing the problem, right? It's my outline, you see. I put my outline on, that's what I'm trying to erase. So I'll leave that. Okay, that's fine. Right. So let's just have a look at where we are on the nose. And what I'm doing at the minute is I'm just shading in the nostril on the right hand side, see? Guarantee it. As soon as you start videoing, my summer with Lily lets me know she's outside. That's what's happening. You can probably hear her barking. Those are circumstances beyond my control, apparently. Right, so I'm just doing this, a light bit of shading on the left side of the nose. So I'm just shading them up. And we also have a little bit of shading coming down here, see? And we also have a little bit of a nose crease line wrinkle coming down there. Okay, got some shadow here, so I might as well just put that in very, very quick. Okay, and I'm just going to go across doing some horizontal shading just above the lips, and I'll come over to the shadow part on the side of the right nose, the right nostril, and it'll be a bit of a double cross hatch there because I've already gone diagonally. Now I'll just work giving this left hand side a second cross hatch, but I'll carry on into the shadow, and that'll be 3 hatches, so it'll always be a little bit darker each time I hatch. See, because I keep going across it, yeah? Now there is a little bit of shadow just underneath the nose here. So I'll add that in there, yeah? Now, on the tip of the nose there's a lovely little shadow, like the beginning of a crescent moon going around the bulbous end of the nose. See? There we go. Now we have a flat plane. I've got a little bit of a line there, and we're just going to erase it with my eraser. My eraser is actually set to the same brush that I'm using to draw and sketch, which is Procreate, so it's great for erasing. But I'm just putting in a flat plane. I'm just coming around the highlights, see? Doesn't matter if I go over them, because I can bring them back with an eraser, see? But as I'm cross hatching, hope you can see, every time I hatch over an existing hatch, it gets tonally a little bit darker each time, and that helps me control the tones that I'm saying in this reference. There we go. That's it. I've still got a long way to go here with getting the shading on this side of the nose, see? So I can put in some shading there, yeah. There's a lot of texture and character in this nose. And I should know, I think I've got my dad's nose. There we go, and you can see that I've got hatching here. I've got about 2 or 3 hatches, but it's still lighter than this, and that's even darker because I've got more hatching on this side, you see. Every time I pick a new angle, it just goes a little fraction darker, see? And that's how you can control your drawing. A lot of people make the mistake when they start shading to shade in everything the same, and they use the paper as your highlights, and then they wonder why it looks flat. Well, that's why, because even on white, the lighter bits, there is still some shading, see? I mean, even the highlights are shaded over. So let's just bring this flatness back. That's it. That's going on well. Let's just work on this area here. We have a little bit of shadow just underneath the eye. Just here, look. Maybe a beginning of a crease, a top nose crease there. And I'm just shading in the darker bits. You can see when I really zoom up, you see the little lattice effect I'm getting with my shading. Every time I go over, and you can see which areas you can reinforce. This is an advantage you get with sketching on a tablet or an iPad. You can really zoom in a lot more than you would see on a pencil sketch unless you started looking at it really close. There we go. Bring the shadow over to this side, yeah? It's getting darker where the nose crease meets the nostril. There's a little bit more shadow just underneath here, you see. So let's just put that in there. There we go. It is a slow process, but it's an accurate and safe process. I found that when I do this, and you can start to see that it starts to come together. Right, I'm just going to go over my nose crease on the left, see? And let's give it a bit of a diagonal cross. Okay, let's do the same on this side. What I'm doing is I'm filling all the blank spaces on my portrait with cross hatches, which are going to help me define what's in shadow and what's in highlight. That's basically all a drawing is. It's like the highs and lows on a mountain range, as if you were looking from above. And that's all I'm doing. So even the light bits have strokes in them. There you go. want to stray too much off my reference, because unless I can see it, and I can't because I haven't got the little face up. I'll bring the face up. It'd be a bit confusing, so I'm going to stick with my reference of the nose and just work on those bits that I can see. There we go. Now at the moment, this part of the nostril and this part are two different tones, but on the reference they're pretty much the same. So that tells me I still have a lot of shading to do in the shadow part. See? So I'm going in there and I'm going to try and match it up with a little few more cross hatches. Oh, I love cross hatching because it lets you build up and build up and build up and build up. I keep checking the tonal values of my reference. Because it's all white, this looks really, really dark. So I can see there's still a lot of work to be done. Let's just add a little bit of shading to this part, okay? A little bit of shadow coming right down. That's it. Now I'm starting to get a balance between this shadow here on this side of the nose and the shadow underneath the nose on the right hand side. So the balance is starting to come back, and I can see straight away it's improved from when we started, yeah? There we go. And we just keep cross hatching. Try one diagonal, turn it around, do another diagonal. There we go. Now I've got some lovely shading in there. So I'm just going to carry on with this side of the nose and just build it up. That's it. I do love the way you can just zoom in on something. Where you see a discrepancy, you just see what the discrepancy is, and look at this. Let's just work a little bit more on this side, because I made this darker now. This has become lighter, so I have to bring this back in balance with the right hand side. It's not as dark as the right hand side. But that's the beauty of cross hatching, you see. Let's just work on this crease that I've got up here, look. Maybe these creases here, look, see? I can see a secondary crease ever so subtly just there. So I'm going to put that in, see? That's it. It's my dad's face. Beginning to recognise it, you see? It helps if you know your subject as well. There we go. Right, let's just work on this crease here. My father, Edward, he had one hell of a life story. During the war, when he was in Poland, the Germans decided to invade. He was one of the Polish soldiers. Eventually he got captured, and he was taken to a Polish prison camp in Siberia with all the other Polish soldiers who were captured. By the Russians from their side, while the Germans were taking Poles and other people from their side. So my dad spent a lot of years in a Siberian gulag, for want of a better term. I think that's what they were called. And then when the Russians joined the Allies, of course they had to release all the Poles they had imprisoned. And when he was released, my father and a few other 100 Poles did that epic march from Siberia all the way down to the Middle East, to Palestine, where they met up with the British forces, and he joined the paratroopers, Polish paratroopers for the British. Now he was at Arnhem. He was all over the place. And after the war in Germany, he met my mother. And then they settled here in the northeast, and he became a miner, and then became a deputy shot firer. And he loved working down the mines. He was well educated. I mean, he used to write books on mathematics, and so he had a good little brain on him, my dad did. But he must have had one hell of a life that he went through. We didn't really speak much about it. I suppose they didn't in those days. A lot of them didn't. They just got on with it. Alright, now I've gone to, that's the beauty of this. Look, you can try a little bit. If you don't like it, just go back a few steps and say that's a better effect already. Maybe just take it off a little bit. Let's try it again. Shade of the entire. Whoops! No wonder I'm in eraser mode. I wondered why. Let's try this. See. Let's just bring this line into more definition, yeah? That's better. That's better. Let's try and define this line up here a little bit more. Okay. And come away with a crush hatch just straight across there. Okay, that's better. I can fade off into the sides like that, you see. A little bit of activity going on this side, this corner of the mouth, and the shadow that's underneath. A little bit of shadow there, see? A little bit of shadow under the nose. Still working on this side of the nose. Nose is a bit like a three-sided pyramid with a flat top. If you can think of that. Now do you see how light that's become? So I'm going to darken the flat plane of the nose, see? That's working fine. Just want to take that outline off. I'm going to go with an eraser. And what I'm doing is I'm just erasing a little bit of the highlights. See? There we go. 2 little dots. Let's just bring it in a little bit more. That's it. Right, there's a lot going on in this section here. There's a lot of shadows going on. A lot of shadows going on this side. And that's looking all right. Let's just see this area here. It's too white. So I'm just going to bring it in with a few cross hatches, yeah? Just changing the angle slightly each time I do it. And every time I do it, it just comes into the balance. I like to say balance because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to balance up one side with the other against the reference that I can see. And hopefully you can have a go at doing the same with your own portraits, pencil portraits. That's it, it's starting to come together now, look at that. Wow. Because I've got more components now, I've got 2 eyes, a nose and some creases. It's starting to come together again. That's it, it's working lovely. Look at that. Balance on the right. It's coming together. And a bit of balance on the left. And that's coming together. A little bit more. On this side, see? Well, that's just lovely. I get such a buzz when I'm drawing or painting. Things are looking the way I want them to look. Sometimes you've got to struggle and work at it. Sometimes it just seems to happen all by itself without any help from you. Get the balance of that flat mirror. That's it, look at that, eh? Right, let's have a look, see what we've got. So I'll take off the nose, bring back the reference. Yes, that'll do. That'll do nicely. I like that. Right, I'm going to call it a session there because I've done the nose as much as I wanted. The next one I'll try the mouth, and then we'll start doing some other sessions around the forehead, the hairs, the ears, the collar and everything. But at the moment I've got a pretty good start there. Okay, quite happy with that. Anyway, thanks for watching everybody. Happy drawing. But thanks for watching, and happy drawing, happy painting everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.